Hello everyone, this is Colin once again. I'm making a video response to Portland Hardstylers. In Portland, I wanted to apologize for not getting back to you. I think you made your video the 1st of the month, and it's the 15th now, so I've been busy with school, and semester started, and yeah, that's pretty much consumed my life, and I just haven't had the time to take a breather, sit down, and make a video response to you. And I rewatched your video and thought about some of the things that you said, and you basically posed two questions. One was basically the nature of anarchy, and can humans self-regulate themselves without a government, or will they just kind of go, crazy and riot and loot and rape and pillage, or do we need a government? And if so, does the government have to be as all-consuming as it is in a lot of countries, or can it be very small? And you said that I might be a little more optimistic than you. I honestly, there are multiple ways to approach this. It's funny because I have not read the literature as far as the psychological literature. I'm in the process of reading Freud's Civilization and Its Discontents, and I probably should have held off from making this video until I finished the book, because he talks about, the idea of culture, and talks about structural theories and things like this, and control. But what I know about Freud, at least having read most of his works up to this point, or up to this book, I think he probably will argue that because of our psyche and having the superego, which pretty much regulates, it's a self-imposing structure in our psyche that essentially tells us what is right or wrong, and it pretty much is developed from our parents, from our teachers, earliest teachers, and from our earliest concepts of right or wrong, and it gets built upon. And this is where we want to, if we have, we wish we could steal something, but then the superego tells us no, that's wrong. And it's and according to Freud, if someone goes against the superego, that's someone who's like an antisocial or a sociopath, someone who completely knows the superego is saying, I don't do this, but goes against it anyway. Gives in to the id. And I have not read Jung's book. That would be the Collected Works number 10 on Civilization and Transition, which I have not read that book either, so I can't even begin to comment on Jung's views. However, my own perspective is, obviously laws are constructed because we as a species feel that the core values which have been outlined in government since civilization. So this idea of don't murder, don't steal. I mean, this is older than the Ten Commandments. I mean, we're talking about like Hammurabi and things like this. And we see this collective pattern of us as a human species develop. Every time a civilization is developed, these laws just sort of get recycled. The concepts of society that are debated usually are things that are of a more personal nature. So, like here in the United States, the big debates are same-sex marriage, abortion, and religion. And those are very personal. Those affect individuals in the comforts of their own home, or in their doctor's office, or their places of worship. And those topics are changed in every century, in every civilization. The most consistent things that I see as far as laws, like telling people what they can and cannot do, are things that seem to go back to the earliest period, because they seem to affect, it's when you affect somebody else. So murdering somebody else, stealing, committing adultery, things like this. And so really, I don't think it's really a question of does a government need to exist to enforce itself on people? I think that humans typically will bring up a leader of some sort to make the decisions for them, and it may just be that we look up to people. We've had leaders for centuries. Even in communities that are very communal, there are people that usually call the shots of some sort. This goes all the way down to Aborigines and people like this. It's like you have a tribal leader. Even though it may not be as enforced, there may not be as many laws as what modern day society has. But I mean, you go anywhere to fill out a damn form, and there's all these other procedures and yada yada yada. But we do this. It's archetypal, if you will, this idea of the leader. And so I think we naturally do this to ourselves. I think we naturally we have this inherited feeling that these laws are universal, and then we implement them. Now, do we need a government? Well, and that's a classic debate. And I know when I finished Plato's Republic, that is the big discussion, is what is the best form of government. Plato, of course, was of the opinion that the philosopher should be in charge. He felt that even a democracy was flawed. And since we are humans, granted, we may have these universal morals that we've inherited, perhaps, but we are flawed as humans, and so trying to implement any sort of form of law or governance is not always going to work out in the best way. Nothing's perfect. We can lie to ourselves all day long and say that everything is perfect, but that's just not the case. Wrestling with my cat. Anyway, I would also say that when I was watching your video, I was thinking of the Tao Te Ching, which, if you haven't read the Tao Te Ching, the Taoist, the major Taoist scripture, I would recommend reading that, because Lao Tzu's view on society and on self-regulation is very fascinating. This I can speak of, because I've actually read the Tao Te Ching, and I've discussed it in an academic setting. Lao Tzu was of the opinion that if we follow the Tao, or if we follow the natural way of humanity, and if we are in tune with nature, we will have no need to have governments. We will be self-sufficient and self-regulating, because we are all collectively following the Tao. And because we all know what the Tao is, at least to the best of our understanding, there will be no need for there to be governments, or we will all be self-regulating. And really, the way Lao Tzu describes is very much sort of the Messianic Golden Age, as described in the Hebrew Bible. It's like peace on earth, no more fighting, and things like this. Now, that might be really optimistic. And that is almost like a very positive version of anarchy. When a lot of people think of anarchy, like you said in the video, they think of this pillaging. But Lao Tzu's vision of social anarchy, I would argue, is very positive and blissful. So, something to think about. But anyway, like I said, I know this is kind of vague, but I guess I don't really have an answer. I just know that there are different perspectives on it. And I know that as humans, nothing is perfect. But maybe, could we be living in a Messianic age? Could we be living in a very Taoist, society like what's envisioned by Lao Tzu? I don't know. It sounds nice. Will it be possible? I think only time and we as a species and our collective psyches can tell. So this is some food for thought. I pass the baton back to you. And I heard the song in the background when you're making the video, and I don't know, I'm sort of a sucker for the Metallica version myself, but the cover. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Peace be with you all.